Greetings from Costa Rica. Today I want to provide my top 5 pieces of Costa Rica real estate advice for foreigners who are hoping to move here. If you've started dreaming of a relocation to Costa Rica or you're looking at purchasing property here, you've probably seen a lot of negative stories online as well as all those positive stories, and I want to help people avoid the errors that lead to those negative stories. My name is Matt Rosenstiel. I've lived and worked in Guanacaste, Costa Rica since 2008. So let's get started with my top piece of Costa Rica real estate advice, and that is that you should not start looking for the right real estate opportunity until you've found the right location for yourself. There are many reasons not to go about this process the opposite way, and people often do. They'll see a commercial for Costa Rica, plan a vacation there, and then immediately start trying to find a fire sale or some great condo that would perfectly fit with their dream of what Costa Rica is. You should absolutely wait to do that until you've been here and decided exactly where in the country you really want to land yourself. And there are a couple reasons. First and foremost, you do need to understand the different communities here in Costa Rica, their pros and cons. You really need to get the idea as to where the best opportunity for your lifestyle is, more than where the best real estate opportunity might be. And if you start emailing people asking about real estate opportunities, you're going to get sales pitches and people trying to lure you into one thing or another. And you want to avoid that until you are a savvy investor who is focused on one particular location, rather than potentially getting lured into something by those sales pitches. Second of all, you may see online that there's no licensing for realtors in Costa Rica, there's no MLS, real estate is an informal industry, and that is all absolutely true. That leads people often to the conclusion that they don't need a realtor here in Costa Rica, and it may shock you to hear that I absolutely agree with that. You do not need a realtor in Costa Rica, but I put the caveat on that you don't need a realtor in the traditional sense. You absolutely need somebody to guide you through the process of evaluating properties and eventually purchasing one, no matter what, whether that person is an official realtor who has the accreditation with one of the local organizations here in Costa Rica, or whether it's a local community member who happens to be the person with the most experience guiding people through real estate transactions. The single most foolish idea that some foreigners have coming down to Costa Rica is that because we don't have the level of formality with our realtor certification, etc., that they are going to be their own agent and navigate this market themselves. I will absolutely admit that not all realtors, not all real estate agents here in Costa Rica are actually going to bring huge value to the table. There are some people out there that you should downright avoid. However, that does not justify trying to tackle this incredibly complex process by yourself. When you have found where you want to invest in Costa Rica and you've decided that that's the right community for you, your next step is to find who in that community can guide you through your property purchase process. My third piece of advice is related to that, and that's actually that hiring a Costa Rica attorney is not a 100% surefire way to protect your interests and ensure things go smoothly through your real estate transaction. And I want to relate that to the Costa Rica cultural tendency to be incredibly friendly and willing to offer services in any circumstance. If you're learning more about Tico culture, you'll learn that one of the top facets of a lot of people is that they'll be agreeable even to a fault where it comes to agreeing that, for example, you'll see people saying, Oh, I can do concrete work, no problem. I'm more than happy to build that retaining wall for you. And really, their concrete work experience may be limited. They're just trying to be agreeable and provide an additional service. In the legal world, that can also happen, where you see Costa Rica attorneys who offer their services in the real estate world, but they actually have a lack of direct knowledge of that local real estate market. And unfortunately, some will have a lack of knowledge of the true real estate process here because their specialty is another area. But you may find them either offering their services for real estate processes, or you might be tempted to use an attorney that perhaps you're using for something else to also help you with your real estate deal. So these people very often are not to blame. A foreigner may ask them, hey, can you help me purchase this property? They'll say, absolutely, I can, and I can protect your interests. But really, as a foreigner who is investing their hard-earned nest egg here in Costa Rica, the attorney is not 100% a guarantee that you are protected. And unfortunately, you will see negative stories online as well of investors who had a public notary, an attorney representing their interests here, but still ended up with one or another issues after they had purchased because that attorney wasn't very experienced, didn't know the full extent of the law, etc. I highly recommend that you find an attorney who not only has recently been involved in real estate in that area, but who does that for the majority of their business. You want to find those people who have recent, frequent experience, as well as the recommendation of references within the community. Fourth, I want to give you a red flag for some of the most dangerous people in Costa Rica real estate. That red flag is when you meet somebody who says, you know, I'm not really a realtor, or I'm not a real estate agent. They say this in a way they're trying to build confidence with you by demonstrating that they're not trying to sell you something, but they do know some people in the community who are selling properties that they could connect you with, or they do know of a special listing or some property that no realtors would show you, etc. The red flag absolutely is these people trying to gain your trust by first saying, you know, I'm not really a realtor. Absolutely, I understand why there are negative stereotypes associated with realtors, especially here in Costa Rica. But if someone deliberately tries first to establish the fact that they're not involved with this, but that they do know of a few properties, in 99% of the circumstances, you should absolutely avoid then choosing that person as your guide for a real estate transaction. It can be absolutely interesting, and I permit you to go out and see different properties with these types of people. In some circumstances, they may actually work out to be a good advocate for you, but I can tell you the number of times that people have been taken in by this pitch here in Costa Rica is countless. I've gotten emails from people that say, you'd never believe, you know, we were just at a bar and we didn't mean for this to happen, but we met this guy who knows somebody else who's selling a property and we've decided to buy direct. That person in the bar won their confidence saying, you know, I'm not really trying to sell you anything. By the way, we've got this. And very often, those properties are going to be the ones with hidden liabilities. The friend of a friend is going to take you, oh, you know, we have an attorney who's very trustworthy in this area. They'll hold your hand. They'll be absolutely the most smiling, sort of seemingly trustworthy person who may even say, oh, I'm not earning a commission from this, on and on, to try and really establish the fact that they don't have an interest in you buying that real estate. But if somebody says, I'm not involved in real estate, and then tries to subtly get you involved into a property, you still need some very independent eyeballs to take a look at that property. And going back to my previous advice, it's not only your lawyer, it does need to be someone who knows the liabilities of a neighborhood, etc. Fifth and finally, data is available to help you determine your prices. It may be very scant data, and you may only have 1 or 2 comps for any possible property throughout Costa Rica, but your agent, the person you've decided to help guide you through your real estate transaction, should have the knowledge, experience, and tools necessary to provide you with at least a couple of data points, recent closings, property that is sold in the nearby area that is comparable to what you're interested in. And if that person, the one that you're hoping to buy real estate through, cannot provide concrete data, if they can't actually give you what has recently closed and at what price, and if they can't find it in some way or another, they really shouldn't be helping you with your real estate transaction as well. In our brokerage, we are proud to be overbearingly transparent in supplying data to prospective buyers. You will see many agents throughout Costa Rica that really want to avoid talking about the comps because A, they may not know the comps, or B, they may be bad comps that don't justify what the asking price is of whatever they're trying to sell you. The real estate agent in that case is trying to just get a deal together, and they might use words like, oh, this is a really good deal, or prices will only go up, but you should always be willing to grill your realtor for data, and if they can't provide it, you should be looking for a new realtor. If you are data-driven and want to take this logical, level-headed approach to looking for real estate here in Costa Rica, do be sure to email me. My address is matt@costaricamat.com. Thanks so much for watching.